morning. Okay, so today's 295, day 295, Matthew 18. Got these red letter sections, pretty cool. What I wanted to do is get in before I get into the Matthew 18. Let me turn to it so I can get there. Okay, I wanted to read a little blurb out of Romans. Okay, so when we hear these red letter sections out of the gospel, we hear the words of Yeshua, we understand what we got going on here. Okay? Okay, but when God commanded his love toward us, in that we were yet sinners, the Christ died for us. Much more than being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from the wrath through him. For if we were enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of his Son. Much more being reconciled, we shall be saved by his life. Okay, being saved by his life means that we hear him. We do as he's taught. Okay, so when we read these sections, we do what he's taught. To understand him, the prophecies of him, okay? In Revelations, it says the testimony of Yeshua is the spirit of prophecy. So understanding what he's talking about. Yesterday in Mark 9, Yeshua was quoting directly from Isaiah 66. So when you recognize that he's quoting from somewhere, and sometimes it'll tell you right on, if you have notes in your Bible, like, let's see here. Right in there, you got notes. It tells me what he's talking about, where he's going. Sometimes it will connect the verse, sometimes it misses it. But the more you read, the more you will hear those connections. Okay, you'll just hear the connections. Sometimes they're given in idioms, and sometimes it's just you recognize a phrase. It's just phrase recognition, and then you could go back to where that phrase was used and get a glimpse of what he's talking about. Okay, Whew. And it's powerful. It makes the reading so much more powerful when you go back and you follow those quotes. It's awesome. It's truly awesome. Matthew 18. At the same time, the disciples came unto Yeshua, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Yeshua called a little child unto him in the midst of them. And he said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Ye be converted. Romans 1, you got to understand the power. A lot of people will tell me, oh, you can't keep the commandments. They don't understand the power of that conversion. If you believe in his resurrection, okay, if you're out there living in sin, sin is transgression of the law, 1 John 3, verse 4. That's where we get our definition from. As far as his kingdom goes, you're dead. Okay, when we are in sin, we are dead. Throughout the Bible. Okay, sin is the bondage. Sin is death. What's the wages of sin is what? Okay. when you're converted, you're brought into life. Okay, so that resurrection is also a metaphor. Okay, so if you don't believe that you can be resurrected yourself, you're missing the whole freaking point of this Bible. Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and shall become as little children, just wanting to make dad happy, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whoever therefore shall humble himself as a little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And who shall receive one such as a little child in my name receiveth me. But who shall offend one of these little ones, believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. This offend one. Okay? In the KJV it says offend one. Some of the versions say cause one to sin. Okay? If you look up that word, it's going to say if you put a stumbling block before somebody, if your doctrine, man's doctrine, what does he just blast the Pharisees with? He doesn't blast the Pharisees, but he blasts the Pharisees because they don't follow God's commandments. They make up their own. Okay? Narrow path. There's a ditch on one side. It's got the Pharisees in it. Okay? They make up their own rules. They put stumbling blocks out in front of everybody. They're in the ditch. Okay? There's a ditch on the other side. The other ditch, okay, is, oh, we just got grace. We can do whatever we want. Well, really? Let's keep reading. Because if that doctrine's an error, you're putting stumbling blocks in front of people. And there's a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, both to the Jew and the Gentile. To both houses. Huh. Woe to the world because of offenses, for it needs be that offenses come. Woe to the man whom the offense cometh. Woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. Therefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life halt or be maimed rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet than to be cast into the everlasting fire. Okay? We know from this account from Mark that we heard yesterday that he was directly quoting Isaiah 66, where the fire isn't quenched. The worms don't die and the fire isn't quenched. Okay, right before this, he was talking about dying to self. I say that some of you before me will not die to yourself until that day when I come back, and that day of judgment. If thine eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with 1 eye rather than having 2 eyes and be cast into hell fire. Why would anybody be cast into hell fire if you're just covered by unmerited favor? Question. Take heed that ye do not despise one of these little ones. For I say unto you, that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. For the Son of Man is come to save which was lost. There's a lot of people that want to know the truth. And what are they going to do? They're going to get caught up in man's doctrine. Okay, in a couple of days, we're going to get into some of these epistles where they warn over and over again about those with itching ears. Look for teachers that will soothe their itching ears. How think ye that if a man has 100 sheep, and one of them gone astray, doth not leave the 99 and goeth into the mountains and seeketh which is gone astray? And if so be that he find it, verily I say unto you, he rejoiced more that sheep than the 99 which went not astray. Even so, it is not the will of your Father which is in heaven, that one of those little ones should perish. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. But if he will not hear thee, then take 3 or 2 or more, and that in one mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. So a matter is established on the witnesses of 2 or 3. Okay? And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it to the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican. Verily I say unto you, whoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. So that's telling you, if somebody is sinning, you go and you confront them about it. You talk to them about it. If they don't listen to you, you bring 2 or 3 and talk to them about it. If they don't hear the 2 or 3, bring the whole church into it. Okay? Right now, if I was to identify somebody as sin and I tell them to them, the whole church thinks, you're the pariah. Look how judgmental you are. Okay? That's why the church is built on sand. And you can read about all of their exploits. Every day you get a new, somebody has fallen, somebody had to resign, somebody is in going to court and prison, and it's just bad. It's not isolated, it's judgment, people. There's blessings and curses. Verily I unto say, whoever shall bind it shall be bound in heaven, and loose in heaven. Then again I say unto you, if 2 of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that shall ask, it shall be done for them by my Father which is in heaven. For where there are 2 or 3 gathered together in my name, I am there in the midst of them. Another one of these points, it's something that every time I see it now, I just see it. And it gathered in my name. The Father's name is Jehovah. The Son comes in his Father's name, which means something. It means Jehovah is salvation. That's what Yeshua means. Or translated to English, it would be Joshua. You could go to the book of Joshua, pull up Strong's, look at the name. Okay. The book of Hebrews sometimes lets that one slide in there. Hebrews 4. Some of these translations translated as Joshua. But woe to the scribes. Woe to the scribes. It says that 7 times in a row. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how often my brother sin against me, and I forgive him till 7 times? And Yeshua said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven is likened to a certain king, which take in account of his servants. And when he has begun to reckon, one was brought to him, but owed him 10,000 talents. But that's a lot. But so forma he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and his children and all that he had, and payment to be made. And the servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. And the Lord of that servant was moved with compassion and loosened him, and forgave him the debt. But the same servant went out and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence. Just, nothing compared to 10,000 talents. And he laid his hands on him, and he took him by the throat, saying, Pay me that which you owest. And his servant fell down at his feet and besought him, saying, Have patience with me, I will pay thee all. And he would not, but he went and cast him into prison till he should pay the debt. So when his fellow servants saw that he had done, he was very sorry, and he came to them, and the Lord, that all was done. And his Lord said to him, They have called, and said unto them, Thou hath wicked servant forgave all the debt, because thou desirest me. Shouldest thou not have compassion on thy fellow servant, even as have pity on thee? And his Lord was wroth, and delivered him to the tormentors, till he should pay all that was due unto him. So likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if ye in your hearts forgive not every one in his brother in their trespass. Okay? When he teaches us how to love thy brother, one of the aspects of loving thy brother is not holding a grudge. Okay? You have to have this forgiveness in your heart. Okay? Also, you can't put the stumbling blocks in front of people. It really is going to take it takes to be poor in spirit. Well, he quotes directly right here, Isaiah 66, where he tells you right before he's bringing the New Jerusalem down upon the earth, what he's looking for. And that is the poor in spirit that trembleth at my word. Then he goes and he tells about what happens to the people who are not poor in spirit. And it's not pretty, because it's where the everlasting fire. It's not good. All right, folks. That's Matthew 18. And we'll be back tomorrow with day 296 in the Blue Letter Bible app, Bible in a Year. I love you guys.